I'm Dawson Schmidt here with the latest stories and developments in this week's Commodity Roundup on Trader PhD. U.S. soybean crush maintained a record pace in July amid strong demand from processors. The USDA reported on Tuesday that soybean crush totaled 204.8 million bushels during the month, up 6% year over year. Year-to-date crushings for the 2024-25 season reached 2.3 billion bushels, which was up nearly 6% from a year ago. Domestic crush is on track to meet the USDA's target of 2.43 billion bushels, with volumes at 92% of the forecast. Crush volumes held at a record in July as margins continue to incentivize processors to move bushels through facilities, though a recent pullback in estimated margins could challenge future crushing. Lower export demand for U.S. soybeans has increased reliance on domestic crush over the past year. U.S. soybean crush is forecast to increase in the upcoming season and represent 58% of total demand. Exports are forecast to account for just 39% of demand. Strong crush volumes are expected to continue to meet needs for soybean oil. Soybean oil used in renewable diesel production has been recovering this year since plummeting in January. The USDA reported on Tuesday that U.S. soybean oil inventories at the end of July totaled 1.87 billion pounds, down 6.7% year over year. Inventories held at a multi-year low despite record crush. Mexico hopes to begin sending livestock to the U.S. again as soon as November. In a daily press conference last week, Mexico President Claudia Sheinbaum said certain trade routes could reopen earlier than November, though. Outbreaks continued to occur last month despite the Mexican government's hope of restarting exports this year. Reuters reported last week that screwworm cases in Mexico surged 53% since July, citing government data. USDA Deputy Secretary Stephen Vaden said fly infections had been spotted about 400 miles south of the U.S.-Mexico border. The USDA has been boosting measures to contain screwworm infections in Mexico. Last month, the USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins announced more funding for a domestic sterile fly production facility in Texas, as well as fast-tracking drugs that are likely to be effective against screwworm. U.S. feeder cattle imports from Mexico have been down 63% through the first half of the year, according to monthly data from the USDA's Economic Research Service, and last year about 1.4 million head of feeder cattle entered the U.S. feedlots. Another look at grain exports shows corn and wheat shipments continue to advance at a strong pace last week. Ahead of the new marketing year, U.S. corn exports held above seasonal averages. Weekly data from the USDA showed inspections totaled 1.41 million metric tons during the week ending August 28th. That was up just 5% from the previous week, but 46% above the same week last year. Shipments to Mexico, Japan, and Colombia led those higher volumes. Total volumes for the marketing year rose to 67 million metric tons, sitting nearly 29% ahead of last year's pace. Export inspections have officially surpassed the record also set during the 2021 and 22 season. Meanwhile, wheat export inspections fell last week to 803,000 metric tons. However, volumes remained 33% higher than the same week last year. Vietnam was the leading destination for the week, followed by Mexico. After a slower start to the new marketing year in July, total movements for the season are up 14.5% from a year ago at 6.6 million metric tons, and the second fastest pace since the 2020 and 2021 season. The stronger export pace is expected to continue as total wheat export commitments are at their best pace in 12 years. Thanks for watching. I'm Dawson Schmidt, and this has been Trader PhD.